Now, when you put new fish into the aquarium, it's really important that you keep the salinity on the low side, specific gravity. So I'd normally want, for an aquarium like this, at about 0.020. Now, if I was going to have invertebrates or sharks, I would normally don't want to keep it so low. So if I am going to run invertebrates or sharks, I might drop the salinity a little bit, introduce the fish, and then slowly raise it back up again, which is an inconvenience, but it does reduce the chance of the fish getting parasitic infections. Now, as far as... So now we have 2 healthy fish swimming around the aquarium, and we have had some issues with the aquarium, which may be a result of either underfeeding the fish or potentially feeding the fish food that is frozen. So what I'm going to recommend is that we drop the salinity of this tank from specific gravity from 0.022 to 0.020 or potentially lower. If we're going to run a shark, we want it back up towards 0.024 at some stage, because you don't want to keep it down if you have sharks. And I want to give this tank 6 weeks from now and make sure the fish are healthy and happy and not scratching and feeding well and holding their weight. And if they're all great for 6 weeks, then I'm going to recommend looking at adding some extra fish. When I add the extra fish, we want the salinity on the low side, 0.020 or even lower. The lower the salinity, the less chance of getting white spot. Then once those fish go in, I want to make sure those fish are healthy and happy and feeding for an absolute minimum of 1 month. After that 1 month, we can then consider putting more fish in again, which also means dropping the salinity. In a perfect world, you could actually have a quarantine tank, and then you can do all this business in the quarantine tank. Otherwise, if you don't have the room or the patience to have a quarantine tank, then make sure you are at least respecting quarantine periods. So therefore, you add some fish, you wait a month. If anything goes wrong, you start the month again. And then know what the fish need to look like and feed them, or even spot feed them. Make sure they're getting food, make sure that their belly is the way that it needs to be. And also be aware that most fish, when you buy them, will be on the skinny side. Because when fish are collected and wholesaled and transported and all the rest of it, they tend to purge the fish so they're not wasting up in the bags. So the fish will tend to be more healthy if they're on the skinny side going through the whole retail experience. So try to fatten your fish up, and you need to know what the fish is supposed to look like, and that isn't necessarily what they came like, because fish coming a little bit skinny is very, very normal. So you need to settle the fish down, fatten him up, give him some love, spot feed him, make sure he's getting the food, and then watch his belly over a period of time. If you notice the belly getting skinny over a period of a month or so, then you need to increase whatever it is you're feeding. If you notice this belly getting fat over a month or so, you need to decrease whatever it is you're feeding until you get a nice healthy balance of fish. And sending us a video and a sample of the water on a semi-regular basis will let us look over it.